Good afternoon. I'm Mark Allen with Gaber IO, and I'm here today with Mike Mosnick, the CEO of Wolf Hill Group. Good afternoon, Mike.
Good afternoon, Mark. How are you?
I'm good. How you doing?
I'm doing very well. Very well.
Thank you for joining us today. And to get started, can you share a brief background of yourself and your work experience?
Sure. So I've probably spent the past 20 years, it's about 50-50 focused in diagnostics, laboratory testing, and I worked in sales and marketing, and I've worked in executive search. So I was a partner and COO at a company called Sloan Partners, which is the parent company of Wolf Hill Group, which I'm the CEO of.
Interesting. So a very varied background.
Yes.
So what has been your experience with remote employment, both as an employee and an employer?
You know what? I have always been working remote, and the employees that I've managed pretty much have always been remote. So I'm very, very comfortable with it. When I started out my career in field sales, I was working remotely. Rose the ranks in sales management to executive vice president of sales and marketing, and all that time I always worked remote, and my sales teams and sales directors and VPs, they all work remote. So I was very familiar with that. And even in executive search, when I was part of co-founding Sloan Partners 20 years ago, we set the company up working remotely back then. So yes, it was never going to a corporate office. When I ran sales, there was at the laboratory, there's definitely an office and a lab, but I was never there because I was out with my team and working deals with them, or I would just work from home. And so in executive search, we've always had employees all over the country working remotely. So under the Sloan Partners umbrella, there's over 50 employees, and Wolf Hill Group folds under that umbrella as well. So I'm very familiar with working remotely.
Yeah, so it sounds like you are generally in favor. I mean, you actually don't have anything to compare it to, right?
Just my colleagues that actually had to come to the office and would always be jealous of me and say, the sales guy never has to be here. I'd show up to board meetings. But it's a good point. And I'm way more familiar working from home than working in a corporate office.
And if you think about it, if you're in sales, you really don't want to be in the office.
No, if I went into the office and I saw one of my sales reps in the office, I'd say, "What are you doing here?
Yeah.
Get up!
What are you doing here?"
Yeah, why are you here? Yeah. So you're exactly right.
Yeah. So on that note, what do you think is the future of remote employment, and what do you think can be done differently to make it more effective?
So I think it's here to stay. There was a lot of talk pre-coronavirus. There was a lot of talk about how this was going to be the decade of working from home. Well, coronavirus has only, just accelerated the digital transformation and work from home. Now companies they can't say that it can't be done. So, right? I mean, everyone's doing it. I think it's here to stay. I think that there are things that can be done to make it better. And I think, everyone's experienced, outages when they're working from home. Everyone's doing Zoom videos, and, your network and at your home and your cable is not always set up to be for conducting business, right? So now that's going to be more common, I think companies are going to look at two different things. I think the minimum part is, the easier part is the infrastructure and the network. So setting up a faster router and cabling for people working from home, easily done. But maybe the company subsidize employees a little bit there. I think the bigger question is security. I think that's a really big component. So the attack area has just expanded exponentially with employees working from home. And let's face it, I mean, people, they're not thinking about security, a lot of them, and they're just tapping right into their systems. And it's sort of a cyber criminal's, dream to have this situation, unfortunately.
Yeah, and I've actually talked to a few CEOs and CIOs that are building products specifically for that. And since coronavirus, Zoom has actually come out with, 2 releases of their product, which is for a product like that, that's an awfully aggressive time frame.
Yeah, I think everyone sees the writing on the wall. I mean, I have a perspective on what's happening in the cybersecurity industry, so it may be skewed, but I mean, everyone is really seeing how vulnerable we are right now, and the increased spend on cybersecurity for companies is going to be something that I don't think it's going to shock them, but there's trade-offs in everything in life, right? So I think companies will probably spend less on corporate real estate and making employees come into the office just to be in the office.
Right.
We're very proven, like we said, we're very proven they can work from home. So if they don't need to be in the office, even just from a health perspective with coronavirus, like let's let them work from home. And if it costs a little bit of money to get them to be secure and have a good network at home, we'd rather do that and slim down our corporate office because we can. And so it's a little bit of a trade-off, but I think that's where it's going to be going.
And I agree, it is going that way. I don't know if you saw last week, Twitter announced that they are going 100% remote from now on.
Yes, they took a big leap there by saying that, and it was good to see that because I think others will follow as the giants in Silicon Valley sort of recognized, hey, there is a silver lining here, and the cost of working in the area, right? Northern California, Silicon Valley, to have employees be there is so expensive. So if companies can do it and do it well, I think why not?
Yeah, I look forward to it because the traffic, the week before California shut down, Google, Facebook, and one other big one, Apple, all told their employees to work from home.
Yeah.
It was a noticeable difference in traffic.
Yes. Yeah.
It was like, rush hour was like driving somewhere at 8 o'clock at night. It was like, oh my God.
Yeah, that's amazing, right? Never mind the positive effects with emissions. So
the environment too. I mean, there's stuff going around the internet showing before and afters.
I've seen some of the pictures. Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
Yes, it is.
I just think that if it's not necessary to have people in and incur all those expenses, then why do that? I do think that there's an element, certainly from the private equity and venture capital perspective, and we work with a lot of those companies. From their perspective, before they invest in a CEO, before they cut that check and make their investment, they really want to meet that person in person and shake their hand if they can, right? But everyone is becoming more and more comfortable with Zoom videos and now connecting like this. In fact, I just had a call this morning with a private equity firm that the VP of talent was basically telling us that pre-corona, she was encouraging all the managing directors and partners to interview with Zoom and do videos. And most of them would not do it. Really? Now they're pretty much all doing it, right? And it took something to get it over that threshold. Now it's there. People are very comfortable with it. Almost all of my new business calls with new prospects and clients, we're doing it Zoom video. So there's an element that's way, way more, engaging, right? Yes. We get to meet people versus just a phone. I mean, I think there's a silver lining in everything. And I think working from home is definitely, here to stay.
Yes, I agree. So what is the story behind the Wolf Hill Group and what's the journey been like? Yeah,
so it's been, it was jolting because we started up in 2019. We, within 7 months, we got hit with coronavirus, right? So we're still in, startup mode, but we're a little bit unique in that we're a Sloan Partners company. So Sloan Partners is an executive search firm that's focused on life sciences and biotech. And I used to be a COO and partner of Sloan Partners. And I've always kept in touch with Adam Sloan and the partners there. And they were seeing more and more of their C-level placements, especially with CIOs, having security fall under their realm of responsibilities. And, to really understand and recruit the talent, you need to understand the industry. And so to do a great job for their clients, just like they had been doing in life sciences, Adam Sloan and I and the partners, we talked about it. And we said, there's an opportunity here to have a search firm using the same, processes that we've developed and honed in on over the past 20 years in life sciences, applied to cybersecurity, and start a different division. So we chose to brand it differently with Wolf Hill Group, and Wolf Hill Group focuses exclusively on cybersecurity. And our real position is to work with venture capitalists, private equity, on companies that are getting ready to go to market. So they need chief marketing officers, chief revenue officers, sales, product, and C-level, of course. So yeah, we're off to a great start. We're busy. We're not as busy as we'd like, of course, but nobody was expecting coronavirus, which happened to fall right in line with the biggest conference in San Francisco for the industry, RSA in February. Everyone was there. And literally on the Wednesday at the conference, everyone started chattering about how there was rumors that the city of San Francisco was going to be shut down and they were going to cancel the conference. And it was just disbelief, right? I mean, there was like 65,000 people there or something like that. And everyone was looking at each other going, nah, that's fake news or whatever. And it was just, that's not going to happen. And then as we started going on, the news is coming out, and within a week and a half after RSA, everything started getting shut down. So, but I will say that the cybersecurity industry, relative to other industries, is doing very, very well.
Yeah, and it makes sense. And I think when things get back to normal, they're going to do even better.
That is the projection. So we're hoping to be much, much busier even then.
Yes, I would. Interesting. I know a friend that was literally coming from Pakistan to the Bay Area, and while he was debating whether to come or not, and he decided to come because let's. And while he was in the air is when they announced the lockdown.
Oh my gosh! Wow. So did he just turn around? Could he get back?
No, he couldn't.
Wow.
So he stayed here for about 2 months. Oh, hold on. Let me cancel that. Interesting.
Well, he had a vacation in Northern California.
Yes, so he did. And now he's in New York, which I'm like, I don't know.
Oh, no. Yeah, I mean, I'm from New York, and I have lots of friends in New York, and I have some that have been directly impacted by coronavirus. So, yeah, New York is tough.
Yes, it is. And my son's there, so he's actually leaving tomorrow.
And he's healthy.
Yes, he is. He's 31. 30. No, he's 30. Yeah. He's good. Sorry about the call there.
That's right.
Yeah, and we've talked about the coronavirus, and you already were a remote company, but did the coronavirus cause any hardships or challenges that you didn't expect? I mean, it sounds like the one was just business in general.
Yeah, so there was nothing on our business other than, our pipeline. So I, as an example, at the conference, the RSA conference, I closed a deal with the chairman of the board of a company, and a week and a half later he said, Mike, we can't go to market right now because they're abroad. They want to go to market in the United States, and I was like, can't go to market in the United States right now. It just doesn't make sense. So those things were unexpected. In the pipeline, some of those searches came to a halt. So that was unexpected. But everything from our perspective, even just being remote and being secure, right? That's what we are as a company. We're set up to be remote, and we're in cybersecurity. So we were prepared to be secure. So there was no change on our end there. And it was like, wow, how is this going to impact the industry? And everyone paused, stopped, observed, and realized very quickly, we've got to get right back to work because we're very vulnerable right now.
Yeah, very interesting. Yeah. So finally, there's companies like Gaper that help build, develop, and scale products for startups. How important do you think that's going to be going forward for companies that, now they look at it and say, hey, we can draw from talent pools all over the world?
Yeah. Yeah, I think, in any crisis, there's going to be innovation. And that there's going to be all sorts of opportunities for startup companies in just every industry that you can think of. those companies always need help. So, routinely, the founders and the innovators, they can get an idea going. They can be an engineer based person,
Mhm.
hire engineers, they can get it going, get the product going. But often they need help with going to market, whether that means capital, strategic advice, talent, whatever it may be. I mean, we come in it from an executive search perspective and help them, but I just think, there's going to be lots of opportunity. And I think that a company like that, like Gaber can certainly contribute. I mean, that's what venture capital does. That's what private equity does. There's going to be no shortage of companies that are going to need help. So if that's, Gaber's, niche, especially with smaller companies, I think there's going to be lots of opportunity.
Yeah, I'm talking to more and more CEOs that are like, do I really need to hire the Stanford grads and the Berkeley, right? Because it's like you can get them a lot cheaper, even in the U.S. Not you don't even have to go outside the country. You can get them much cheaper in the U.S.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I don't get hung up on the Stanford and Harvard and all
Mm.
those things. I mean, I went to USC and Columbia, great schools.
Yep.
And, I mean, I value my education. It's something that can never be taken away from me. My grandfather used to always say that to me. But, I've met so many talented, smart people that have way more skill and talent and have proven that over time than lots of people that have gone to the best schools in the
Mm.
country. And so I think it's good, and I think it's worth the value, but I never put limitations on people that don't have those things. I think there's a world full of talent that goes way beyond those resumes,
Yeah,
those schools especially. Yeah.
I agree. So, Mike, I want to thank you for your time today. This has been very enlightening, and good luck.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Yeah. Stay safe and healthy, and we'll see how this work from home journey takes us.
Yeah. All right. Have a great day.
All right, Mark. Yep. You too.
Bye.